of you. Fireside chat is not supposed to be controversial. Although there is a lot of fire in the word fireside chat, it is supposed to be an easy chat, little informal, not extremely formal and structured. And those things which are not available on Google, I think we are supposed to converse. That is the definition of fireside chat. And we'll take up a few questions and request Madam Swati Lakra to respond. And in the next 15 to 20 minutes, I think we'll be able to understand a little more about the most successful, most brilliant officer that we have seen in Telangana here. And see what we can rediscover into her journey of providing better policing, better law and order, women's safety, so on and so forth. Ma'am, the first question. Do we call you madam or madam sir?
Please call me Swati.
Oh, I can't call you by first name, so you have to choose one of the two. Do the people in your department call you madam sir? Because that's what I see on television in certain serials, that lady police officers are actually addressed madam sir.
You're right. Actually, not in our state, definitely, in Telangana, but in other states I have heard that people do call lady police officers madam sir. I think it will come out of the patriarchal society that we live in, that people cannot think of probably a police officer being a lady. So they still have it in mind, and probably that is why, you know, miss or madam really doesn't come out, and that sir word, irrespective of whether you are a woman or a man, comes out as that.
It actually comes from our cultural ethos that, policing is something very man or masculine in its perception. But I think officers like you are slowly breaking that kind of perception and doing extremely well and trying to de-genderize policing. I'm very happy about that. A big round of applause. Ma'am, in such a male-dominated police force, you have actually chosen to be, and 20 years hence, roughly about 20 years into your service, you've been
25 now.
25 now. A big round of applause for the Silver Jubilee. Ma'am, so many years of service, handling several cases, very often tough for anyone actually. Cases do not actually discriminate between genders, in terms of officers. But the police force itself and the people working around within your department, if they can call you madam sir, they also are restricted too much in hierarchy, for example. Especially police force is a lot hierarchical. How did you tackle over the last 25 years this hierarchy in police?
First of all, when you said I chose this career, frankly speaking, it was not really, by choice that it happened. In the UPSC, you need to write down the services. And I just, without thinking, I wrote all the services, just thinking that, leaving it to God, that whatever comes, probably it will be from the divinity. And I really believed in that. And after I got into the police service, frankly speaking, there are many people, in fact, in my batch also, who wanted to try again for the IAS. But I did not try for the IAS. And in this 25 years of service, there's been no looking back. And I have always, liked the challenges that this service has thrown onto me. Coming to your question about this male-dominated police force, definitely it is male-dominated, but let me also tell you that 50% of our population, after all, is women. And when we need to, look into the law and order perspective, law enforcement in the society, if the population is 50%, I think it is very important that our police department also be 50%. But unfortunately, we are hardly less than 5% in the department. But now the Telangana government has given reservation of about 33% to women to join the service as constables, as sub-inspectors of police, and as DSPs. So hopefully, and now we are going to get, a lot of recruitments are in the fore, and we expect to get more and more women in this service.
But that's great. I think the situation is changing in terms of the police force itself, especially when you have such an enabling government like that of government of Telangana. But ma'am, personally, over the last 25 years, in order to make sure that you're very successful, in order to make sure that you do enforce law and order, at the same time, protect the assets of the government, safety of people, while doing all these things, every day is not going to be easy. I'm sure every day was never easy. Who do you look up to when the day comes to an end? When I say when the day comes to an end, it's not a single day. I mean to ask you that, what keeps you ticking? What keeps you going?
See, when we came into the service, rather, when I came into the service, and we underwent almost a year-long training, we were never given any kind of concessions. We were 13 of us, ladies in the batch, and among 82 of us. And frankly speaking, our male colleagues, our male batchmates also were very, very supportive. And there was a very healthy competition amongst us. So frankly speaking, I don't think, we should be looked as a lady or a male police officer. I would rather be known as a, efficient and professional officer rather than, a lady getting attached to it. Because ultimately it boils down to being an officer, which is more important. And coming to the job, it is a challenging job, but of course, if you are professional in your approach, whether it is a male or a female, I think, people will respect you, your officers will respect you, and we ultimately have to get the work done.
That's great. I think it calls for a different kind of mettle. Now, when a lot of students and people who are from schools and colleges are sitting here, and a lot of people are actually watching this live being streamed, what is your advice to those civil services aspirants, especially women?
Go for it, definitely. This is a service you will definitely not regret. It is very challenging. You have the support system also in this. So I don't think any kind of cliched thoughts should, stop you from being or coming into the police service at least. In fact, there's a lot of unnecessary, rumors or ideas about being in the police department. But frankly speaking, I think it is the most safest department for a policewoman. So I think everybody should go ahead and come into the department here.
That's really great. I think those who are watching this particular program live should get inspired, not just by her words here, but also the entire journey of 25 years that she has put in. Ma'am, you become extremely popular in terms of bringing in she teams, which is a unique initiative as far as Telangana police is concerned. I have not heard of this before in any other state. Telangana government has definitely, through you, have started she teams, very unique program. Through she teams, I think the kind of women's safety that has been assured, the kind of initiatives that you have taken, we know sketchily here and there. We have heard of it many a time, but is there anything that generally people miss not knowing about she teams? Are there any 2-3 points that you would like to tell us?
First of all, whenever you hear of she teams, the nomenclature she automatically people feel that it is women police personnel who are in the she teams. But you would be surprised to know that maximum number of members in the she teams are men. And there is only, for the simple reason that we don't have so many women with us. So basically five members are there in each team, with at least one member as a woman, so that whenever they nab a person, or when they have to interact with the petitioner, the lady feels comfortable. So only for that matter, the one lady is there. And of course, these members who are there, before going into the field, before actually going into and nabbing people, they are trained. And they are trained on gender sensitization. They are trained on the standard operating procedures, on how we need to operate. They are trained in all these things so that we ensure that not a single person who is innocent should be punished. So she teams has a very, very strict standard operating procedures, and we ensure that they keep changing. They are not permanent she teams. They keep changing, yes, and so that everyone gets a chance to be in the she teams, and they're doing tremendous work. In fact, they're doing a lot of hard work, and hopefully one day should come that we do not need these she teams at all, and people themselves behave themselves, and there is respect for women overall in the society.
Nice. We'll come back to that point, ma'am, in a little while from now. So in she teams is one where we don't know that these teams have actually male officers. I mean, that's something which the general perception is that everyone is actually female. That is one. Second thing is that you have established Dial 100, you have worked on Hawkeye app, and then Bharosa teams, Bharosa centers per se. These are actually lots of initiatives. When we look at all these things, this should provide a lot of safety for women, girls, and everyone around. However, the crimes don't seem to be stopping. The crimes seem to be, recurring again and again. And of course, there are many reasons that one can cite. But what are the top 3 reasons that society as a whole should take a lesson or should look at from your point of view, ma'am?
See, first of all, I would like to say that law enforcement agency, that is the police department, is not wholly and solely responsible for the safety of women. I think it is important that we realize that the entire society, the civil society, everyone should, in fact, do something about the women's safety. And when we talk about women's safety, it should start from the family itself, when the child is small. And it starts from the time when we distinguish or discriminate between a male child and a female child. So when we give a more preferential treatment to the boy child vis-a-vis a more lowering treatment to the girl child, it all starts from there. When the boy starts feeling that he is superior to his own sister, so a girl or a woman on the street obviously is nobody for him. So I think we should start from the time when they are small, and we are also now, in that case, trying to catch these boys young. And for that matter, we are in fact collaborating with the education department, and the director, Seshu Kumari Garu, is also over here. We have had several meetings now to ensure that, we give these kind of trainings, or rather the change in the syllabus itself, in the boys, the children basically, who are young, from 4, 5, 6.
But ma'am, what is the central theme that we need to work on structurally from what is not there at this point in time in terms of education and curriculum?
See, our education mostly is based on academics.
Correct.
We stress so much on academics only. We do not see the personality development. So I think we need to stress more on that. The idea of having a egalitarian society, the idea of respecting a woman, the idea of, small boys understanding the concept of respect to a woman, all these things will only come when we start teaching them from a very young age. We cannot change a person when once he is an adult, or even in the college for that matter. So we need to catch them young and ensure that these personality development and other, such courses are inbuilt in the curriculum itself so that they learn to respect women right from the beginning itself.
Great, ma'am. It has actually contained several points, one for the parents, then for the educationists, both at school and college and university levels. At all levels, I think we need to address this comprehensively. Only then the society will change, and not merely the law enforcing agencies, as you rightly pointed. Ma'am, moving a little bit away from this discussion, you would have seen policing in other countries like in the US, say for example NYPD, I really don't know anything about it, or UK or Singapore or any other advanced countries where the policing is done better. Can you tell us one or two things which our police force does not have, or we should aspire for, which others at this point in time possess?
See, one thing that the other forces are using is technology to a lot of extent. Well, we have also in Telangana Police learned from them. In fact, many of our teams have gone to the US and we have learned a lot of technology, from them. So I think because frankly speaking, technology is a force multiplier. We do not have that kind of police personnel on the ground vis-a-vis the population that is there.
In terms of number?
Yes,
ratios
in
are
terms
very,
of
very
number.
poor.
So that is where we can use technology and, it becomes a force multiplier there. For example, the CCTV cameras. Now,
But now we have a lot of CCTV cameras.
yes. So, I mean, we can proudly say that we have more than 10 lakh CCTV cameras in Telangana.
In the whole state or in Hyderabad?
Most of them are in Hyderabad, of course, but we are ensuring that the entire state also has as many CCTV cameras. And if you've seen lately, most of the cases are being detected within 24 to 48 hours.
Wow.
And the reason being the CCTV cameras.
Right.
We are able to, detect the cases because of these. And apart from that, we have, the Hawkeye mobile application that we have been promoting all the public to download, which is not really for only women, but for everyone. And among the features that are there, particularly for women's safety also, there are several features.
Great, ma'am. There are a lot of tech companies here in the audience. Tell us one problem that you, in your experience, or police force in general, is facing, so which you want the tech architects to work on and solve it. That is, you will state a problem, and some of us will provide a tech-aided solution. Is there anything that is unresolved?
See, first thing is, problem that we are facing is the funds. What happens is, for anything to sustain, we do need, for example, let me just talk about Bharosa Centers. Now, Bharosa Center is one initiative which has been also, recognized and appreciated by the Supreme Court of India. And if you see the Hyderabad Bharosa Center, which was the first pilot project that we made, it is doing tremendous work. It has psychologists, it has legal advisors, we have video conferencing facility for recording the statement by the magistrates also, we have a police officer, etc. Now for...
Children-friendly courts.
Absolutely. there is a child-friendly court also.
Child-friendly court is something amazing, actually. I've never heard of this thing before.
In fact, child-friendly court, it is not that this is the first time that we have made. There are child-friendly courts in Delhi, in Bangalore, in Bengaluru, and etc. But what is different and what is the first of its kind that we have in our child-friendly court is that it is away from the regular court premises. So normally what happens is if it's a victim, whether it is a lady or a child, and they have to attend the court, it's very traumatic for them because of the stigma being attached to being a victim. And when he or she, if the child is there, goes to the court and everyone, feels that this child has been sexually abused, it's very traumatic. So our child-friendly court is away from the regular court premises and it is near the Bharosa Center. So the psychologists, the support persons, everyone is there to take support from there. And as far as, technology help that you have asked us, definitely, as I said, we need a lot of support and, in whatever ways.
Tell us one unresolved problem, ma'am. We would like to come back with a solution.
Well, we are in the lookout for softwares, basically, to make things easier for us.
Administratively easier?
Yes,
Okay.
administratively easier.
Yeah. We have somebody sitting in the audience who can do that.
So,
Someone should say yes.
anyways, I will not
Yeah.
force it upon anybody,
No, no, no.
but
Yeah.
the thing is, we do need volunteers to come forward and help us in, there are, as I said, we are using technology to a lot of extent, and we need people to help us in improving what technology we already have also.
Great. Ma'am, Bharosa centers are basically help centers for legal, emotional, administrative, medical support in one piece, if I may state it like that. Now, I know you work with a lot of volunteers, you work with NGOs as well. I have a specific question for you. This has come out of my research actually, that what is the role played by Taruni NGO in establishing Bharosa centers?
Taruni, with Dr. Mamata Raghuveer as the head of Taruni, has been associated with the Bharosa Center right since its inception. So,
It's now 4 years, maybe?
it's now 4 years, more than 4 years now. And we started in 2016, actually, the center. So, Taruni NGO has, in fact, Dr. Mamata Raghuveer is our technical director for Bharosa Centers, and she has been associated very closely with helping us in ensuring that all the, standard operating procedures which need to be formed are in place. And Bharosa has been made into a society for the simple reason of becoming financially independent. So instead of depending totally on the government funds, since it is a society, we can accept CSR also.
That's great. What are your suggestions to other states in India with respect to women's safety? Because here we seem to have taken a few strides ahead of others. Are there one or two suggestions that we can actually liberally share with other states in India?
See, every state wants to do the best for their own. And, the good practices we also have taken from other states. So similarly, whatever, they feel is good from our Telangana police perspective, they are most welcome. And many states have come down to Telangana to, have a look at the SHE teams, the Bharosa centers, and replicate what we have. In fact, for that matter, it's a give and take. Even we have been to Delhi to look at the child-friendly court, and we have taken cues from there. So, though it is, of course, in Delhi, it is within the court premises itself. So, for us, we have made it into in a separate place.
Fantastic. Ma'am, did you any time in your career feel that you are restricted or felt helpless while handling a particular case or dealing with any initiative?
Well, challenges do come. Definitely challenges will come, but that's the most interesting part. And the thing is, we have a good team. We don't work in silos. We should not work in silos. We should always, take the help of the various experts in trying to, look for answers. And that is what we do. And that is why whenever I have had any issues and felt that I'm stuck, I always consult people and, we get answers.
Great. Generally, ma'am, from society or general perception is that police department doesn't get too much of credit actually. But in your case, for the initiatives that you had taken up, you got decent credit. How do you see that? How do you look at that?
See, policing actually is a very thankless job, you know. People only if, normally we only do the negative
Exactly.
work, as far as, nabbing people, putting people, cases against them. Now, in this, there's a lot of goodwill because there are a lot of women who have been helped. So obviously, in every family, there is a woman. And everyone, for that matter, when a woman is affected, the entire family is affected. So this is like, it's a welcome change for the people also, and they feel that, yes, this is something which is welcome for everyone, because everyone is affected when a woman is affected. So, I mean, when, we help women out, people feel good.
Great. We help women out and people feel good. That's a fantastic statement. Ma'am, we are going to wrap it up now. Somebody has just asked me through a slip of paper, what is the time? So it means that we need to wrap it up. And also the clock has actually gone bust long back. Ma'am, we will take one-liners from you just to save time. You have planned so many things for women's safety, law and order, solving crimes, this and that. Is there anything for men you are planning, ma'am? You can laugh freely.
Actually, in a way, isn't it for men also? Don't the men have sisters, mothers, daughters, wives? I think it is equally for men.
So what we do in general for women is automatically for men and for the society at large. Brilliant, yes? Thank you. Ma'am, in your service, again one-liner from you, you can say yes or no, and I will not persist. Did you any time face any bullying or harassment in your career?
In my career, no.
Your favorite song is Panchi Nadiyan, yes or no?
Yes.
You are scared of lizards, yes or no?
Yes.
You studied in KG to 10th in one school, yes or no?
Yes.
You are the last sibling, yes or no?
Yes.
All the yeses that she said are applicable to me also. That is called branding. If I had told you about what I like, what I dislike, you wouldn't believe, right? What ma'am likes and what she is also closer on the last 4 questions is same, yes to me also. Ma'am, I have seen some of the brilliant officers around the country, male, women, who have been extremely successful, some of them retired. I've seen them, I've met them, I interacted with them. Like them, do you have any failures till now? Any one or two that you can cite?
Definitely. I mean, failures are a part of life. Even I have had failures. I think it should be taken more as a stepping stone rather than, a failure. And I have overcome those failures also. So I don't take it now as a failure.
Great. Big round of applause for that. Ma'am, we are now at the last question, 1 or 2 questions. Which game do you play either to de-stress or keep fit?
I don't know about games, but I do yoga and, you know, now I've started Zumba.
Zumba dance, okay.
So, I mean, it's just about a month since I've started. But yes, as far as games are concerned, whatever games my children play, I play along with them.
You play along with them?
Yes.
Oh, that's the best way to actually move forward. Thank you very much, ma'am, and I thank all the members in the audience who have been so patient and listening to you. Pin drop silence. I think we also need to thank the organizers of the World Education Summit. This has been a great conference, great summit for the last 2 days. People from all around the country have come here, right from morning yesterday till now, and I'm sure it's going to go beyond this particular program as well. So World Education Summit driven by ELITS and powered by ICFI Group. That's a good line, yeah. Branding is something which is within the limits of your time, energy, and money. You will have to state something which is factually not incorrect. I think that is what branding is all about. Actually, there are a lot of sponsors and a lot of supporters of this program, but what I said is also not factually incorrect. So World Education Summit is powered by ICFI Group and is driven by ELITS. So that's factually correct. And I'm extremely thankful for them for having invited you to this particular program and for having agreed to stay here and converse with us, ma'am. Thank you very much. Do you have any question to me?
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you. It's my
Thank you
pleasure.
very much.
Thank you.